Hi, everyone. I got this wicked awesome shirt. Uh, yeah, and I changed my outfit. How about that? Um, Basically, I just wanted to talk about the next topic that kind of goes into like the betterment, betterment, and whatnot. Um, so yeah, so that is leaving slash taking a break from social media. Um, a lot of you probably have this in the way back of your mind, maybe you know, subconscious thinking of like, oh, what if I did leave, social media and stuff, um, and it's just kind of something that you've always put to the past because you never really, you know, took much thought into it because of you know, how negative and stuff you think it would be if you left. Um, so this year, uh, I I took a break, okay, a break for about 3 weeks to a month. And prior to that, I did it for I think like 4 months or so. That was back in like 2019. When I was trying to find myself again, going back to trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and you know, not really giving in to social pressure anymore, or what my family wanted me to do, really. Um, but that's that's in that video. So uh, now, what I want to cover is how bad social media is for you. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not trying to convince you to leave it, or not trying to force you into leaving it, because for a lot of people it's a way of connecting to other people. But if you are looking into improving your mental health, improving your overall contentment of life and what you are doing with it, I highly suggest that you um, put consideration into leaving social media, or at least taking a break from it. Now, there's a bunch of stuff you can read on with when it comes to uh, taking a break or just completely leaving it. Uh, Now, one of the biggest things is that social media is the people behind it. Their sole intention is to get you to be consumed by it. Um, Hence why there's all these like really a lot of buttons, a lot of things you can push, and the videos and stuff that constantly show up. They constantly want you to engage in their platform, because the more you engage, the more money they make. They're very smart people, the people that are behind social media. Mark Zuckerberg, that's the only person I know. But they're very smart. Um, but yeah, no, my mind is a little sidetracked, but it's a big thing for dopamine response, uh, with all the buttons and the the colors and stuff, blue, you know, uh, it's just very uh, it's very catching, I guess, to the brain. I have to burp. But anyways, uh, one of the biggest things is that when you're on social media, you're constantly, even if you don't realize it, you're constantly comparing yourself to others on there. You could say you're not, but in reality, like, how many times have you felt like really not the greatest, or you feel great, and then you look at another friend's feed, and you see they got a new car or something, and then you're like, oh wow, that's really, and then you start thinking of like, oh, it's um, like how can I get better and stuff like that, and how can I get a car? How can I, especially when you don't um, aren't in a great headspace, it's really awful to be doing that sort of thing. With seeing people in relationships getting married and stuff. It's kind of like in your subconscious too, even if you're not like realizing it like in the forefront. It's always constant. Humans are just naturally competitive. They're naturally wanting to improve and stuff like that. And so, when you see that type of thing, it's very it's very toxic, I guess you'd say. Very toxic, because when you start comparing yourself to others, and then when you realize that you're not doing the greatest, it just brings you down even more. And another thing is with why it's bad is because of the amount of time you most likely consume with it. Like, how many times have you just, out of like boredom or just plain awkwardness, kind of just scroll through, and you realize that it's like, oh, it's been like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. People that, I mean, I've talked to, they've been doing it for, they scroll for hours and hours on end, just like watching videos. And even myself, when I was on it, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna watch this video, and then you get another one that's wicked, cool, and all these very it, uh, it just pleasures your dopamine receptors, and you just end up watching it more and more, and and one of the biggest things is when you leave social media, you realize that all of this time that you were wasting scrolling and stuff like that. And one of the biggest things is one of the absolute biggest things is that I try to get, people I talk to or chat with and whatnot to understand is, a lot of people are like, oh, if I leave social media, like, how am I supposed to get myself out there? How am I supposed to, you know, my brain just went, give me a second. I'm turning 23 in like less than a month, and my head's going now. That's great. No, but one of the biggest things is that, oh, who's gonna, because you feel like, I'm gonna leave so many friends, I'm gonna leave, family members out of touch. And one of the biggest things is that is very superficial as well. Now, you take how many, friends you have on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, and take in consideration, if you were to like leave, how many of them would actually reach out to you? How many of them would actually put in the effort to consistently reach out to you and see how you're doing? And it's like very few, and that's the unfortunate truth. And people just don't want to comprehend that, because they're like, oh, I have so many friends and stuff like that. It's just like, Okay, but how many of them are gonna actually reach out to you and want to continue a conversation? You know, even friends from like high school and stuff, right? You keep in touch with. It's like you realize that they have their own life, you got your own life, and so one of the hardest things is kind of separating yourself from this mentality of wanting to constantly seek out for, like validation and attention and whatnot, because it's a very natural thing to do, seek out attention. And it's like we all want to be validated for existence and stuff like that, and that's one of the biggest things, is just kind of thinking that we have my snake that we have more people who, I guess, care about us than we actually do. Because in reality, there's only a very few people that genuinely care about you, stuff. And I'm not trying to be a pessimist. It's just a fact. How many people are going to go about? It's just like, oh, you're always going to be in their thoughts and stuff like that, and but it's just like you just don't know, I guess, what I'm trying to get to. And so I don't even know what I'm saying right now. As I said, or if I didn't say, I had a bit of caffeine, but and now I'm going to talk about what you can gain from leaving social media. Now, I deactivated my accounts, my Facebook, Snapchat, all of it. I've been off it for about 3 weeks now, I think, and like for good. Like my account is like deactivated, and one of the biggest things I've realized is that I've been a lot more happier. I've been a lot more accepting of wanting to do my own stuff and not reaching out to people that are very molded into the superficial paste of, that's another thing, is I know I'm bouncing all around with it, but that's like another harsh truth, is there's a lot of people, and it's only going to get worse with this molding of finding very, very flat people, or people who have personalities that are constantly getting duller and duller. And it's just like, once when you leave it, you realize that maybe you were part of that as well. But one of the things is you can work on it, work on improving yourself with your personality, and so one of the things that I guess you could, one of the things that in regards to leaving social media is just being more happy, because you don't have to update people on your life, because how many of them like will constantly like keep scrolling, right? Keep scrolling. Oh, okay. Or just seeking validation with like reactions, likes, all this stuff. It's not healthy. No, I mean, on occasion it is, right, to seek that type of validation or attention, but it's just like, it's a constant thing for a lot of people. Just like update people daily, update friends daily on what you are doing in your life. And maybe it's like, again, like I'm kind of all over the place with this, but I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts out on this, Do I plan on going back to social media? Maybe at some point, but right now it's just like I need to work on myself, and because I have a lot of ambitions. I'm a very ambitious guy, and with wanting to get back into running, start a breeding business, keep us, maintain this job that I have as a janitor, work on getting another car or a new car, all this stuff that I have that it's just like I don't need anyone to kind of give off this information or goals to, because again, the only one who is actually going to be knows how important these goals are to you is yourself. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Yeah, so like leaving social media, you'll be a lot happier. You'll be more productive, almost guaranteed, because you won't wake up first in the morning, do like the half-hour scroll before your 9 to 5, right? You could go out for a walk, and you realize that you become more accepting of being your own personal self and just working on you and not having to reach out to the people that could end up being very superficial and toxic to you. I saw, yeah, it's going on like 16 minutes, but it's just something that I have been very grateful for, I guess, is to be able to see this for myself, because I was just like a majority of you. It obviously it doesn't make me seem special, but just leaving social media was honestly one of the greatest things I did this year. Other than switch up my diet and stuff. That's the two things that I'm very proud of and grateful for that I've done for myself. But yeah, I mean, I hope you were able to take something out of this. I know it was a little longer than to be expected. You could put this at, if well, I was gonna say put it at 2 times speed, but it's kind of like, well, we're coming to the end of this, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much it, what I wanted to get out. If I missed anything, I mean, I don't know, I might put it in the description or not, but yeah, so drop a like, subscribe, please. I'm trying to get myself to 10 subscribers by like summertime. That'd be pretty neat. But yeah, I plan on making more videos. I've just been kind of busy and with life and stuff like that. But I hope you were able to get something out of this. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.